Hey guys, Hopeless Hal here, coming at you with another video. This time we'll be talking about that one frog race no one remembers because it's technically not official. This is the PDF known as One Grung Above. The name of the race is Grung, if you didn't catch that. So if we scroll down here, there's a little introduction about it being made and what this is, and nice little picture of what they look like, all the different colors which play into their lore of how high up in status they are, and all that stuff. And it has a few what shall I call it, templates. I want to say more examples. But you get the idea. Well, here's what the grung actually does. It gives a dexterity boost of 2 and a constitution boost of 1. Not bad, not bad. Some generic stats, always useful. Let's see. They mature to adulthood in a single year, but have been known to live up to 50 of them. Most grungs are lawful, having been raised in a strict caste system. They tend towards evil as well. Lawful evil makes sense. Coming from a culture where social advancement occurs rarely, and most often because another member of your army has died, and there is no one else of that case to fill the vacancy. You get proficiency in perception. That's a good skill right off the bat. Small size, nice. Walking speed of 25 feet makes sense for a small race, but at climbing speed of 25 feet, oh, that is a nice speed to have, even if it's not a full 30. Also amphibious, breathe air and water. Not only that, you actually get an immunity. You heard that right, not a resistance, but immunity to poison. An okay common damage type. And of course the poison condition on top of that, which is nice. A lot of bug-like creatures are really not going to like that. But here's one of its most noticeable traits. Poisonous skin. Any creature that grapples you or otherwise comes into direct contact with your skin must succeed a DC 12 Constitution saving throw or become poisoned for 1 minute. Grappling doesn't come up all that often, but coming into direct contact does, as, say, a monk punching you, or just anything punching you or touching you that basically isn't using a weapon. Let's see. On top of that, this also comes up a lot when in lower levels, because the cleric might try to heal you with a touch-based spell like, let's say, Cure Wounds, and this applies to them as well. And poison for 1 minute is no joke. A poisoned creature no longer in direct contact with you can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of your turns, as with a lot of effects similar to this, ending the effect on itself on a success. And DC 12 isn't exactly hard to pass, it's just that getting even slightly unlucky might make this a bad day for you. You can also apply this poison to any piercing weapon as part of an attack with that weapon, though when you hit, the poison reacts differently. The target must succeed a DC 12 Constitution saving throw or take 2d4 poison damage. Now, this is all sorts of jank. First of all, Constitution saving throw, a lot of people are proficient in that. Second of all, it's DC 12. That's easy to pass even if you are proficient. If you have a flat 0, then passing is a 12 or higher, which is 45% of the time. And another thing is that 2d4 poison damage, it has an average of 5 damage. It's pretty good in lower levels. It's still pretty good in higher levels, because as a part of an attack with that weapon, you don't need to use your bonus action, your reaction, your action. You don't need to use any sort of action, and it doesn't cost you anything whatsoever. You just put it on the attack. That's free damage. Its only requirement is that it has to be a piercing weapon. But bow and arrow does that. Daggers do that. Short swords do that. plenty of things that you might find on a rogue, which is already a very powerful class that has a ton of damage. But it doesn't have to be necessarily on a rogue, because, say, a fighter. Fighter just pulls out a short sword, boom, it can now use this. It's incredible. But, as powerful as all these skills are put together, there's still more. With standing leap. Your long jump is up to 25 feet, and your high jump is up to 15 feet, with or without a running start. This doesn't come up too often, but when it does, boy, is that a lifesaver. If you fall into a pit trap, I mean, you could just jump out. And if you can't, it's that deep, jump and then use your climbing speed, which you have. Climbing speed. It's incredible. These two combined together can mean you can travel vertically incredibly quickly as long as you have something to travel on. Let's see. One of its few downsides is water dependency. If you fail to immerse yourself in water for at least 1 hour during a day, you suffer 1 level of exhaustion at the end of that day. You can only recover from this exhaustion through magic or by immersing yourself in water for at least 1 hour. Well, as long as you weren't in a desert, this isn't half bad. And you can breathe air and water, meaning, why don't you just take a nap in said water? Take a short rest. That's enough. 1 hour, short rest, boom. You could take a long rest too if you wanted. Its last downside is in its languages, which you might not expect. It says you could speak, read, and write Grung. Grung is not a very common language. It could be good for spreading secrets, but if you notice, it's one of the few races that doesn't include common. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. It doesn't include common. And in practically every case, unless the whole party is Grung, or someone just happened to take the Grung language, then you can't communicate with your party. At all. You have to do charades. You can't even write. Because when in the languages section, it already takes into account writing, meaning you can't write common. And Grung isn't one of the basic languages. So it doesn't have the same alphabet as the other ones either. It's its own completely separate language. So language is annoying. Water dependency is brutal in wrong settings. And everything else is completely overpowered. This is why this is an unofficial race. But yeah. Grungs are cool. They come in all sorts of colors. Their lore's decent. Grungs. The frog race.